Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, this is great.
Yeah.
Feels so new and fresh to do this in the evening. It's so sweet to see everyone. Wonderful.
So
Welcome.
many smiling faces.
Yeah. Yeah, so sweet to see everybody. Oh, it feels like the message we're going to explore here is about self-concept, or actually its undoing. Because the self-concept is not real. The idea is that we're born here without self-concept and we build one up. And trying to perfect it, trying to make it better and better and better. But Jesus talks about this self-concept in the Course as a false idea, a mask that covers up the true self, that hides the true identity. It can't really be hidden. So it's a fake world where a game is played out. So it feels really good that you're here and that we're here together. That we can really join in this purpose, clearing the mind. Do you want to introduce us more?
This is Jenny. I'm Barret.
Yeah.
we love to do this. Just before this, we heard a siren out here. We live out in the country, so it's very unusual. We pulled back the curtain and it was like an emergency vehicle. We're like, what's going on? Well, it's like a celebration. It's like a parade going down our little country road here. Jenny went out and they were giving candy.
Yeah, me and Anna and Matthew and Dirk went out and they loaded us with candy. We told Anna to pull out her sweater, throw all the candy in. Yeah, it was very sweet. It's the Three Kings Day, which is something we haven't really heard about or celebrated. So, but they do that here in Spain.
It just feels like that's how spirit is. You just get a parade of happiness and music and sweetness. You don't even always know it's coming. But yeah, I can share it. We also have a foundation, which all that we do is rooted in. Awaken to Love Foundation, which in Spain is Despierta al Amor. And it's it's just the way that spirit is extending these messages so that we can all wake up to the joy. We can all feel that sweetness, not outside of us, but through and through.
It feels really good to let Spirit use everything in our lives. Everything. We can let Spirit use everything. And what he can't use will fall to the side, will disappear. And what he can use, he will continue to use until we have no need of it anymore. And this is also described in the self-concept versus self in the course, where he describes that we will have many self-concepts as our learning goes along. We will change self-concepts, seemingly to higher and higher and higher self-concepts, until there is less and less and less left of a personal self. So it's going to be like, almost like changing clothes, wearing something lighter and lighter and lighter until we are in our true self, which is not really in form at all.
And tonight we have a treat to kind of explore this self-concept and the undoing of it. We were called to the movie The Family Man in preparation for our joining. So maybe some of you have seen it, a great movie with Nicolas Cage and Téa Leoni. And a good example of how we can undo the concept that really gets in the way of our truth and come into the place where the love really is.
Yeah, the guy in the movie, he's a good example of how a self-concept is built up and propped up. And there's a lot of pride in the self-concept. And how, if there's a sincere prayer of the heart, this self-concept will be undone with the Holy Spirit's help. And there can be things and help coming our way. And in his case, in the movie, he gets a glimpse of another life, you could say, and just a glimpse of another experience that opens his heart so wide. And he says in the movie, it's more real. That life, that glimpse he got is more real than his normal life. And that's exactly what I've experienced when I've had a glimpse of truth, that it's more real than this world of form. This world of form is just so changing and kind of, just unreal with time and space and change and shifts. The true life beyond form is reality, and this is unreality. But while we're here believing we're a self-concept, it's backwards. We think this is real, and God's world is unreal. It seems so strange and disconnected from us. We don't believe it's even real when we live in this world. It may try to reach God because there is a core longing in all of us. And there is the core truth that is always there, and we try to reach to it. And this prayer, this trying, is pulling us closer, and is also giving us or attracting to us the means that we need in this undoing of a self-concept. Usually it involves people, mighty companions, sometimes community, to support the undoing. I think that's why we're all here today. So shall we start with the reading?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in self-concept versus self, Jesus says, the learning of the world is built upon a concept of the self adjusted to the world's reality. It fits it well. For this an image is that suits a world of shadows and illusions. Here it walks at home, where what it sees is one with it. The building of a concept of the self is what the learning of the world is for. This is its purpose, that you come without the self and make one as you go along. And by the time you reach maturity, you have perfected it to meet the world on equal terms, at one with its demands. A concept of the self is made by you. It bears no likeness to yourself at all. We can even stay with that sentence. A concept of the self is made by you. It bears no likeness to yourself at all. That's good to know. That this one that you call by a name, that have certain likes, dislikes, certain situation, family, it bears no likeness to who you are. And this is also what I've experienced in my experience in meeting the higher self. That is real, and this little self in this world is unreal. And there was no likeness. There is nothing needed from this self-concept in this world. It can add nothing, it can offer nothing to our true self. It's not there. It's like a plastic, it's like a shell that isn't needed, and it's not even there anymore. It is an idol made to take the place of your reality as Son of God. It's an idol. The concept of the self the world would teach is not the thing that it appears to be. Okay, that's good to know too. It's not the thing that it appears to be, for it is made to serve two purposes, but one of which the mind can recognize. So this self-concept is made to serve two purposes, and only one of them the mind can recognize. The first presents the face of innocence, the aspect acted on. It is this face that smiles and charms and even seems to love. It searches for companions and looks at times with pity on the suffering, and sometimes offers solace. It believes that it is good within an evil world. This face of innocence believes that the world is evil, but it is good itself. So the outside is evil. This aspect can grow angry, for the world is wicked and unable to provide the love and shelter innocence deserves. And so this face is often wet with tears at the injustices the world accords to those who would be generous and good. This aspect never makes the first attack, but every day 100 little things make small assaults upon its innocence, provoking it to irritation and at last to open insult and abuse. Wow. So this is very clearly described, this face of innocence. And I think we all know of this face of innocence because everyone who walks this world has made the face of innocence. I am good, the world is evil, dangerous, hateful, hurtful, and all of this. And I have the right to be angry sometimes because it's some injustice going on. All of this we recognize. So here it goes. Beneath the face of innocence, there is a lesson that the concept of the self was made to teach. It is a lesson in a terrible displacement and a fear so devastating that the face that smiles above it must forever look away, lest it perceive the treachery it hides. The lesson teaches this: I am the thing you made of me, and as you look on me, you stand condemned because of what I am. So this is the hidden part that it may take some contemplation to recognize. I am the thing you made of me, and as you look on me, you stand condemned because of what I am. That's awful. That's this victimhood that the other one will be condemned because I am the thing he made of me. So this angry self, this angry part That, somewhere you're not what the other one made of you. You know it in spirit, in truth. And therefore, that's the true part. But then there is this other part that says that you're a victim. You think you are what the others have made of you. And therefore they are condemned. So you can accuse them. You can point the finger and say, they are really bad because they think this of me. You may have seen that in your psyche, when you are angry at someone. It's because you think, you don't really truly think you are what they made of you, but you can play it out that way. So this victim runs so deep, so deep. That's why it's so important. It's one of the self-concepts that is so helpful to take a deep look at and release. It's the victimhood. And the other concepts, the pride, and many different parts of self-concepts. Concepts are learned. They are not natural. Apart from learning, they do not exist. They are not given, so they must be made. Not one of them is true, and many come from feverish imaginations, hot with hatred and distortions born of fear. What is a concept but a thought to which its maker gives a meaning of its own? Concepts maintain the world, but they cannot be used to demonstrate that the world is real. For all of them are made within the world, born in its shadow, growing in its ways, and finally maturing in its thought. They are ideas of idols, painted with the brushes of the world, which cannot make a single picture representing truth. It's like this, like a movie, you can't, like it's made up and you cannot see the truth behind it. You can only see the images made within it because it's painted with the brushes of the world, so to speak. So, a concept of the self is meaningless, for no one here can see what it is for. Interesting. Everyone is full of their own self-concept, but no one can really see what it is for. Now must the Holy Spirit find a way to help you see this concept of the self must be undone if any peace of mind is to be given you. Okay, that's good to know too. The Holy Spirit must find a way to help us undo this self-concept if any peace of mind is going to be possible. Nor can it be unlearned except by lessons aimed to teach that you are something else. Holy Spirit's lessons will teach us we are something else than this small self-concept. For otherwise, you would be asked to make exchange of what you now believe for total loss of self, and greater terror would arise in you. So you will still be taught that you are something in this world. You will be taught another self-concept, a lighter self-concept. Thus are the Holy Spirit's lesson plans arranged in easy steps. That though there be some lack of ease at times and some distress, there is no shattering of what was learned, but just a retranslation of what seems to be the evidence on its behalf. That sounds so gentle. There is no shattering of what was learned, but just a retranslation of what seems to be the evidence. Yes, it's good news. Like, first of all, there is a Holy Spirit. There is a spirit of truth that is constantly here to teach our minds about who we truly are and replace this erroneous self-concept with a more real, closer to the truth way of being. And this is available all the time. And all the time we do choose if we want to listen to the Holy Spirit or not. So each moment we have the opportunity to release the self-concept and have it replaced with spirit. It's very practical and very helpful. And so in the movie clip that we're going to watch, he's first very, very full of himself, very prideful. And somehow he must have a desire for some healing, because something happens and he doesn't seem to like it. And this can be the case sometimes. We can feel a bit uncomfortable with the way that the healing comes to us. But we need to accept it. And he does that in the movie. He accepts it so that and first he's very reluctant. And sometimes this is the case. We can be very reluctant and resistant to hearing the teachings of the Holy Spirit or accepting the lessons. And this is what he's going through. So, do you have something to add?
Yeah, just for a little setup, we're gonna join in to his journey. The very beginning of the movie, he's at the airport with his girlfriend that he loves so much, and she asks him to stay. She asks him not to go to London. Basically, let's scrap our plans. He's going to go to London. She's going to go to law school, and she says, let's forget it all. I have a bad feeling about this. I just want you. I want us. I want us to be together.
I choose us, she says.
And he then gives her a big hug and says he loves her, but then he goes and gets on the plane. And so this is basically the next scene in the movie, where we see 13 years later what happens after he got on the plane. So we'll just kind of give you a little bit of a summary. We weren't going to watch the whole movie with you guys tonight, but these scenes were so helpful because they really kind of bring you into the experience of someone who wants something different. And the next thing that happens is he goes to sleep and he wakes up in his life he would have had with Kate if he would have stayed with her 13 years ago.
So he wakes up in a bed with her sleeping on him, on his chest. She's like sleeping. They have 2 kids that run into the room with a dog, and he's looking so shocked. He's like, what is going on? And he runs out, he takes off, he tries to go back to his apartment and to his job, but they don't recognize him. So this is like his glimpse. Is he actually is the man he would have been if he had stayed with her. So he no longer has that job. He's a family man. And he has huge of stuff coming up around appearing there.
He runs out of the house on Christmas morning to try to go back to his old life. And then every step he takes, he's in total judgment of this way of life, because again, he thinks he's such kind of hot stuff. This sort of self-inflated idea of who he is just doesn't mesh with what is confronting him every day.
Yeah, and he can't go back to his normal life because this glimpse is complete. It's like he's caught in it, and he's going to need to stay in it until he's learned his lesson. And the black guy is saying, this can take a considerable time because of how thick your self-concept is, basically. So in the movie, you can watch this movie for yourself because it's really nice movie. He comes to an acceptance of his life, and even more than acceptance, he starts to feel love in his heart and connection so much that he doesn't want to go back. And let's see if there's so the day when it's time to go back, that is when he has fully accepted this love. He's learned his lesson, basically. He's let go of his pride, and he's started to be truly helpful, to be present, to enjoy the true connection with others, not to get, but to give, to let spirit give through you. That's the true connection with others. So so once he's learned the lesson, it's time to go back to his old life. So he's basically sucked up again to his real life, as this businessman. And it's devastated. He can't do it. This big business deal that they were just going to make, he brushes it off. It's not important to him, because now love is important. So you can watch the movie for yourself. Maybe I shouldn't give it away, because it's really sweet what happens then next. So we'll let you find that out. But yeah, we just wanted to show that to you, to show an example of how we need to undo the self-concept, no matter what it looks like. We all have a little different self-concept. There are different flavors of this face of innocence that is walking around in this world. So there are different things to undo. And just, the helpfulness of saying yes to this undoing. I know how helpful it has been for me to take the steps, to say yes, to undo the ego. And for all of us who have the Course in our lives, we know that's why Course in Miracles came into our life, because we're ready for the biggest undoing ever. We recognize this as a helpful guide there. So we can open up for sharing maybe on this topic. If anybody would like to share or ask some questions.
Hi. I would like to talk about exactly this subject, because this week I felt so much upset and devastated, angry with something. And now that I'm listening to you speaking about our self-concept, I'm thinking that this that happened to me this week is just a big opportunity to look at my self-concept and why I was so upset and angry in that situation. Because the case was a person in my job said a lot of bad things about me, and I felt a lot of things about this person. But when I heard my friend saying to me, Camila, the tal person is saying a lot of bad things about you, he doesn't like you, and that time I saw myself losing consciousness. I was not there anymore talking to her. I was totally absent. And I stopped talking to her, and I felt, oh my goodness, this has happened again. Because there were some episodes during my life that I felt this, like, oh my goodness, I'm being abandoned again. And I don't know actually what I felt, but I felt I was devastated with that comment. Like, oh my goodness, there is another person closing the doors for me, like, but probably this is a good opportunity for me to work on it and to see more things about my self-concept, because probably I was trying to defend my image or my behavior, or somehow, I don't know, my personality, and I was trying to please someone in some way, but I don't know what he thinks about me. But now I think I have this opportunity to look better. And I don't know, I feel to express this because it was a so strong feeling that moment. I felt I was losing consciousness. I stopped paying attention in her, and I was totally in my mind looking, oh my goodness, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling abandonment. I'm feeling sadness. I'm feeling that I'm alone, that people usually don't like to talk to me or don't like that I'm in that group of people. And this happening again, like I felt in my last job in Brazil. I'm feeling the same thing, you know, and I don't know, I think it's good to express because I don't know where is it from in my mind, but I just want to let it go.
Yeah, thanks for sharing about that. Yeah,
Thank you.
The self-concept, you know, part of it is to be liked. I want to be liked. And so it feels devastating when you get reflections of like that, so harsh, turning their back to you so much that you pass out or you disappear, you leave emotionally or mentally, you leave the situation. I had this flash of the movie, even right before when you started talking, Walter Mitty. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a movie we can watch together. He disappears. He takes off into fantasy land when he has very low self-esteem. He also wants to be liked, but he believes he's really not liked at all. So he disappears. He flies away into fantasy land. I just thought of that movie. We talked about having a movie gathering online where we can watch a movie together. So maybe that's it.
What is the name of this movie, Jane? That you mentioned?
The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Mitty, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it feels good that you share this, and you know, you're really looking at the self-concept, at the idea of being liked, because only self-concept can have that. And it's very important for the self-concept to have friends, to have some people to join with, and some people also that, you know, you don't care about, because that's part of it too. There's a few special ones that are important, and then everybody else is kind of unimportant, you know, to the self-concept. So it's really good to see this, because when we release this need to be liked, the Christ self can start to shine through, and we don't really feel affected. We're just staying with our one friend, with the Holy Spirit in our mind, and so that is what will come through as we have laid aside these other self-concepts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Camilla. Thank you. Anybody else want to share?
New Year.
New Year.
Good to see you. Happy New Year.
This is a really good subject because this past month, I've been doing a lot of deep diving into my self-concepts and my roles and regrets and anger and, you know, all that stuff that comes up over these parts of myself over the years and decisions I've made, or wish it was this, or why wasn't it that, and oh, if I could only go back and do it again and do it differently. And so this is a really interesting subject for me today. And after about a month, I'm finally kind of climbing myself out of some pretty dark times, moments, and a lot of emotion that's come up for me. But, I remember when I was at nursing school, it just goes to show how much society reinforces all of these roles and self-concepts that we're supposed to absorb, believe in, because we were taught, I just remember one class we were taught, we were talking about primary roles and secondary roles and tertiary roles that we as individuals take on, whether you're a daughter or, a mother or a sister or, a nurse or a dog walker, whatever, and it becomes so complex in our minds that it just feels so complicated to let it all go. We become so attached to all of these ideas, and then it becomes, well, who am I without all these beliefs about who I am? And so I feel like what I went through this last month was kind of a, seeing remnants of stuff that I'm still attached to, that I still can't let go of. I feel like I'm bipolar or tripolar sometimes with my emotions. I get up one day and I'm feeling great, and then I get up another day and I'm just a mess. And so it's trying to remove myself from what I'm experiencing and observe it rather than be it is challenging. I try to do it, and eventually I get to a place of peace with it. But yeah, just being able to let go of these self-concepts and just be able to be at peace with what is, that's my prayer. Just be with what is, and not need to be part of it, and not need to identify with it, and just be able to let it go and not believe in littleness for myself. There's always been this strong belief in littleness. So making myself speak up today is big for me. So participating in these groups is going to be good, because I go into it thinking, oh, I haven't got anything important to say. Nobody's going to want to hear what I have to say. I don't have anything valuable to contribute. So I'm just grateful to have these opportunities.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Even the forgiveness part of forgiving, what you have regretted from the past is such an important part to look at it, to even open up to looking at the stuff in the past that we have regret for. It will never heal, and if we hold on to the idea that we made a mistake and we don't dare to look at it, but what you're doing feels so good. Like, feel your willingness.
Yeah, as you were sharing, I thought back, we watched the movie Frozen yesterday, and there's a scene in it where one of the characters gets pulled out onto the ice to kind of skate. And she says, "Oh, but I don't know how to skate." And one of the other characters says, "Just slide and pivot, glide and pivot," or something. It's like really simple and fun and playful. And I just sort of have that whole image around what you were expressing, that when it feels tough or when you don't know how to navigate, it's okay. It's a little simpler than you might think it is, and you're going to do just fine. There's almost like a natural rhythm, to ice skating or things like that. That once you start to get it, it becomes more and more natural and flowing. I think forgiveness is actually like that. The more you do it, the more it starts to feel that natural flow. You can actually have some fun with it.
Yeah, on the other side of forgiveness is fun. When you're forgiven, you just feel so light. I think we should watch a little more of this movie now. Another clip, I think, of how he deals with it when he gets to arrive there, with her. And he gets this, when the glimpse starts. And it's so intense for him. Let's just watch that. You see, he can't get up fast enough. So yeah, it's for you, Gareth. So some details in there. And you're doing it too. Like got a nice car and yeah, accepting. Actually, this movie is really, really pertinent right now. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I think we watched it with you guys before, maybe.
Yeah, we may have. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Raphael is here with us today. You wrote to me today you want to release the focus on future thoughts. That's awesome. He was saying he sees how much he has been focusing on future plans. What shall I do in the future? Future thinking and past thinking is like an addiction in the mind. Keep spinning on what shall I do? What's going to happen next? Or what has happened in the past? Because it's that fear of being present, being completely in the present moment. But that's all our calling. It's what we are calling for, is to become so present with really no concern for the future, just trust. Because Spirit will show us the way, and the future is not happening right now. So the best we can do right now is to trust.
Just keep thinking about today. You know, we kind of got this prompt to pull up this movie and use it as a, you know, this kind of example of how you can clean the mind and clear the self-concept. And just as we sort of finish our review of it, we hear these sirens and then the music outside. And it's like there's a parade. There's this happy, joyful flow coming right to you, right by our house here. It's like a beautiful symbol of how spirit works in so many ways. You know, we don't always expect it or even know it's coming our way.
I received a gift from a black painted king. The person had painted their face completely black, like the black guy in the movie who came with his gift. This king gave me and Anna all this candy, you know. It's kind of cool. I didn't click until now.
Holy Spirit.
Symbolism. Yeah. Yeah, that's fun. It's fun. It's fun to open your heart, just to become present, and even that perception of it sounded like a police car, like some kind of emergency, you know, but then it was just joy coming with it. Well, our next session is on Sunday morning.
Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m.
Same link.
And then our next evening session is Monday evening at the same time, 7:30 p.m. Central European time.
You're welcome to join in. And if anybody wants a certain topic to be explored, and you can actually write to us beforehand, and we can bring that in. So yeah, hope to see you again then. It's been really nice to be with you tonight.
Yeah, big hugs, lots of love.
Big hug. Love hearts. Try to do this hard. Love you.
Love you guys. Love you all.